What is up, Grant? Here we are again. This is going to be fun.
Okay, have a good time.
Listen, this is the next best thing. And props to my Canadian Rams brother, Payo Time, showing up on your show. Now, I used to coin a few terms and ask and tell me if I'm correct going into the 8th year in Kyle Shanahan's ringless tenure. I used to call him incompetent. Check. Right? I called Kyle's team the regular season empire. Check. Right? Now, Brock Purdy was supposed to be an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, let me tell you this here. It's not his fault that he plays on a great team that's loaded. It's not his fault that the NFC is weak this year. It's not his fault that the teams on the schedule are usually way less. They're not as good as the Niners. So he's building those stats. You know, they would call Stafford Stat Padford, right? Well, that's Brock Padford. Because let me tell you this. I'm not seeing anyone else saying this. So it's not his fault. He's a young player. He can get better, or he could be Jared Goff and 2 years later be on another team. It depends. We'll see, because as the talent go, you got to pay him in a year or two, and then Trent Williams will be out. Is he regressing? Trent Williams, he had 2 big penalties, didn't play a good Super Bowl. When he's out, then there's all hell's going to break loose. But you don't know him off the top of your head, but look at the stats of Brock Purdy when they play good defenses. The Browns, the Ravens, the Bengals, where they went into Levi, blew them out. The two playoff games against the Packers and Lions, he did those comebacks, but he played horrible in most of those games, or half of the Lions game. In the Super Bowl, he had an okay game, but guess what? Ayuk has many touchdowns as Brock Purdy did. So that's why I called Brock Purdy Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0, the mobile edition, because it's the same guy. And answer me this: did Brock Purdy miss a long deep ball like Jimmy Garoppolo did in the Super Bowl? So Jimmy 2.0, that's fool's gold. I call him fool's gold too, and check that too, because it's the same result, Grant. And props to you, Grant. You call it like it is, you and Lowell, and I'm looking forward to next season. Will they implode? Because it's hard, going up there and getting there and then losing in the big game, the hangover. We remember what happened after they lost the 2019 season. And it's funny that you had Niners content creators, not you, but other ones, media members, always trying to compare this team to the 2019 Niners. Is this team like the 2019? Who's better? Well, now they are like the 2019 Niners, because they both lost.
That's true. No, they were getting a lot of, is this team better than the 94 Niners? Like, no. But no.
This is what I'm looking forward to, Grant. We'll see what the Niners are still going to be the class of the NFC because they're still loaded, right? We'll see if they pay Ayuk. Maybe we'll grab is Juwan Jennings' contract up?
Restricted free agent. So
I can see adding him with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and then we go and grab Chris Jones from the KC, put him next to Donald. We have a nice draft, and then we're holding the Lombardi versus KC in the Super Bowl. I would love that. We'll see what happens because we got money, we got cap. The NFC is going to be the NFC West is going to be really neat next year because all the teams are going to be better. Except for the Niners. They might not be as good as they were this year. So I'm looking forward to, Grant. Props to you, my brother. Appreciate you. And props to Lowell. And I can't wait, man. But I just wanted to tell you that I haven't come on a while, but 30 years and counting, Grant. 30 years and counting since they held the Lombardi. There and that comment you got us with the fans. The Rams have any fans? They got fans, Grant. We were out of this market for 20 years. But at least we have that Lombardi, the last NFC team to win the Super Bowl. And we're not like these poor souls back here, the escalator, bang, bang, escalator gang. Again, they lost, So, but props to you, Grant. I appreciate you, my brother. Take care. And as we always say, may the Ramelia be with you, Grant. Ramulators, mount up for next year, baby.
He said Ramulators mount up. That was too good.
Hey, how's it going, Grant?
All right, where are you calling from? I was curious to see where Rams fans live.
So I'm kind of a weird one. I'm actually a Rams YouTuber, and I live in Nova Scotia, Canada.
There you go. Okay, they're spread out. Okay, I love it.
Yeah. Well, dude, thanks so much for having me on and getting blessings on you and your content creation. And
Thank you.
I'm coming on to ask a question. Is this season, this Niners team had Super Bowl hype all year long. It seemed like whether they were at home or on the road, the faithful showed up a ton.
They
do. Looking at
large fan base as opposed to the Rams. Sorry.
Hey, we're growing. We're growing.
You're growing. Not in LA, but other places they're growing.
Yeah. In Nova Scotia, where I live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Strong presence.
But what do you think next year looks like? Like, does this team next year have the same Super Bowl hype it will have this past season? When they go to those road games, do you still expect to see the sea of red out there?
Hell yeah, I do. I absolutely do. This fan base is growing every year. It's it might be the biggest. It feels like the biggest fan base in football right now. But maybe it's because I cover the team. But every time they're on the road, it's a home game. Almost every time. It's incredible.
But you don't think that like this loss like dampers that a little bit?
Look, I think you're asking the wrong question, Payo Time. I don't think it dampers it for the fans. The question is, how is this locker room going to respond to this loss?
Okay.
Because it's the most gut-wrenching loss in sports history, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. And last year when they lost to the Eagles, they could say, man, our quarterback got hurt. That's not fair. We were going to win. And they did that. And they galvanized themselves behind this whole, like, we didn't get a fair chance. And it drove them all year. They were the number one seed. They were really the best team in the league all year. Now, after losing because their head coach botched the coin flip.
Yeah.
What do you say? Like, they had the best team. They had the spot. They had the shot. They had them.
Opportunities, really.
It's depressing. This just seems depressing to know that you can do everything right, have the best team in the league, and your coach will find a new way to lose a game that you didn't even know existed. Tough.
That's some say tough, some say talented, and I'd be okay with if the Niners want to keep doing this year after year. I told someone I'd rather the Rams win the Super Bowl like they're going to next year, or I don't mind seeing, the aftermath of the Niners like this. It's been really cool to see like your channel and all the other 49ers content creators just sort of milk this loss for tons of views.
You could argue that the Niners, if they had just taken the ball second in overtime, they would have won. I mean, they got it first. They drove the ball down to the 9-yard line and frankly punked out on 4th and 4.
Yes.
But if they'd gotten the ball second, they actually couldn't have punked out. They would have had to go for the touchdown and trusted their players, who probably would have freaking come through because they're better than Kyle Shanahan gives them credit for, because he thinks he's the star of this team. I'm just saying, man, I don't see how they get over this one. I really wouldn't be surprised if they had a big-time Super Bowl hangover last year. You saw it with the Rams. Niners had it when they lost to the Chiefs the last time. It's a real thing. It's old team.
I'm still on the train. When the Rams had it, it was in like historic injury season.
Same with the Niners.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
But
so we'll see. Less time for recovery, but I'll let other people come on here. But thanks for having me on, man. Blessings on your content, and hope you get over this loss all right.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Peace.